And greetings from our Temecula studio. This is the Ryder Report. I'm Ryder Bullock. The Golden State Warriors edged out the Denver Nuggets in a 137-131 overtime thriller, fueled by a vintage performance from Stephen Curry, who dropped 42 points on 14 of 25 shooting and nailed all 8 of his free throws, including 16 straight, to force overtime. Despite Denver's efficient shooting, 53.7% from the field and 40% from three. The Warriors capitalized on hustle stats, winning the turnover battle 13-9, grabbing 10 offensive boards to Denver's 7 and recording 11 steals to the Nuggets' 8. Both teams were deadlocked at 43 rebounds apiece, but Golden State's bench energy and late game execution proved decisive. Curry's fourth quarter takeover was the turning point as he orchestrated a scoring run that erased Denver's largest lead of 14 and flipped momentum heading into the extra frame. Jokic and the Nuggets kept pace with 56 points in the paint and near perfect free throw shooting, 92.9%. But Golden State's 18 made threes and 33 assists gave them the edge in a game that felt like a playoff preview. With the win, the Warriors showcased their resilience and star power, while Denver left Chase Center knowing they'd been outlasted in a battle of titans. The Warriors have won 2 straight against Western Conference contenders. Earlier tonight, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropped 55 in Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And let me tell you something, you don't walk into Gainbridge Fieldhouse and drop 55 unless you're a stone-cold killer. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's the guy, he's the reigning MVP. And last night, he reminded everybody why. This was a finals rematch, folks, not some sleepy October game. This was a war. Double overtime again, second straight game. And Shai, he's out there like it's game 7 in June. Now, listen, I don't care if Halliburton's out. I don't care if McConnell's out. I don't care if Nembhard's shoulder's hanging by a thread. The Pacers still had Pascal Siakam, still had Benedict Mathurin, and they still hung 135. That's not a team rolling over. That's a team swinging back. But Shai, he's the difference. 23 of 26 from the line. That's not just scoring. That's control. That's poise. That's MVP stuff. And let's talk about that timeout, that late whistle when Obi Toppin looked like he had the steal. That's going to be a talking point. That's going to be a Carlisle soundbite. But you know what? That's the NBA. You get the call, you make the play. Thunder did both. Now, the Pacers, they raised the banner tonight, Eastern Conference champs. Good for them. They honored Nancy Leonard, and that's a beautiful thing. She saved that franchises. But banners don't win games. And tonight, the Thunder reminded Indiana what it felt like to lose in June, and they did it with style. Next up, Atlanta for OKC, Memphis for Indy. But circle this one, folks. If we get Thunder Pacers again in the finals, you better believe it's going to be fireworks. As the final buzzer sounds tonight, the NBA remains engulfed in a scandal that stretches far beyond the hardwood. Federal charges have now been filed against 34 individuals, including Heat guard Terry Rozier, Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, and former NBA player and coach Damon Jones, in what authorities are calling a historic pair of gambling indictments. One case centers on a high-stakes sports betting ring that allegedly used insider NBA information to rig wagers. The other involves a poker scheme backed by 4 of New York's 5 mafia families. A network that prosecutors say used tampered shuffling machines, x-ray tables, and secret contact lenses to cheat victims out of more than $7 million. Jones is named in both indictments, according to federal documents. He leaked injury details about LeBron James ahead of key Laker games in 2023 and 2024. Rozier, meanwhile, was accused of tipping off co-conspirators before a March 2023 game, telling them he would exit early with a foot injury, prompting over $200,000 in bets on his prop unders. 7 NBA games from 2023 and 2024 were allegedly targeted by gamblers armed with this intel. Also named in the probe is Jonte Porter, who was banned from the league last year after pleading guilty to wire fraud in a similar scheme. The list of defendants reads like a roll camera from a crime drama, with nicknames like Tommy Juice, Black Tony, Flapper Poker, and Albanian Bruce, alongside NBA veterans and poker pros. Billups, a Hall of Famer and a 2004 NBA champion, was seen leaving Portland's federal courthouse Thursday afternoon, silent behind a Clutch Sports hoodie. Rozier exited via a back entrance of an Orlando courthouse following his arrangement. FBI Director Kash Patel called the scale of the fraud mind-boggling. Prosecutors say the investigation spans 11 states and multiple years and may not be over. Tonight, the league faces not just legal scrutiny, but a reckoning with trust, transparency, and the future of sports betting. Let's shift gears to the NFL. Thursday night football and the Chargers. Finally, the Chargers showed up, and I mean showed up. They beat the brakes off the Vikings 37-10, and let me tell you, that game was over before the third quarter even started. Herbert, 3 touchdowns, 227 yards, and he looked like the guy they paid all that money to be. That's what you're supposed to do when you're at home, coming off a bad loss and playing a team on a short rest with a backup quarterback. Now listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend Carson Wentz is the answer. He's not. Okay? He's duct tape. He's out there with one shoulder, getting sacked 5 times and trying to make something happen. But the Vikings, 12 first downs, 21 minutes of possession. That's not football. That's a walkthrough. And how about Keenan Allen? 11,000 yards. That's rare air. That's Antonio Gates territory. That's franchise royalty. 4 catches, 44 yards, and nothing flashy, but he's still the heartbeat of that offense. And the kid, Gatson, makes a play. Gets flagged for celebrating. Welcome to the league, kid. You can score, but don't you dare smile about it. Now, the Chargers got some help. Let's be honest. That pick 6 waved off. Couple of Vikings penalties that kept drives alive, but that's football. You take the breaks when they come, and the Chargers, they finally capitalized, and they needed this one. You drop 4-4 in that division, you're toast, but now they're back in the mix. As for the Vikings, they're limping, literally. Okadua's out. McCarthy's still out, and now they got to go to Detroit. Good luck. That's a team on fumes. Chargers head to Tennessee next, and let's see if they can stack wins, because one thing's for sure. Herbert's got the arm, the weapons, and now maybe the momentum. To baseball now, and we are less than 24 hours from Game 1 of the World Series. Dodgers, Blue Jays. And let me tell you, this one's got everything. You got the big money Dodgers, $509 million payroll rolling in like the Empire. You got Dave Roberts playing the villain, cracking jokes about running baseball and ruining the sport. You got Shohei Ohtani launching missiles in batting practice like he's warming up for the home run derby. And you got Toronto, Canada's team, trying to bring the trophy back across the border for the first time since Joe Carter touched them all in 93. Now, let's be clear. The Dodgers, they're loaded. Ohtani, Freeman, Betts. That's a murder's row. And on the mound, Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto. That's not a rotation. That's a problem. They're 9-1 in the postseason. They won 14 of 15. They start every series on the road and still dominant. That's not luck. That's pedigree. But don't sleep on Toronto. Schneider's right. This isn't David versus Goliath. This is a team with Guerrero Jr. hitting .442 in October. This is a team with Trey Yescovay, 22 years old, opening the series in just his 7th start. That's guts. That's belief. That's a country behind you. And let's talk about Blake Snell. Back in the series for the first time since 2020. We all remember Game 6. Pulled too early. Dodgers rallied. That moment haunted him. But now he's older, he's wiser, he's got 182 million in his pocket and a chance to rewrite the ending. That's baseball, folks. Redemption is always one pitch away. Now, history says rest is a curse. Teams coming off sweeps lose to teams that grind through seven. Happened in 88, 06, 07, and 12. So don't be surprised if Toronto comes out sharper. They've been in the fire. Dodgers, they've been cruising. But this ain't about stats. This is about legacy. If LA wins again, you start whispering dynasty. If Toronto wins, you got a nation celebrating like it's 93 again. Either way, we're getting a series with stars, storylines, and stakes. That is what October's all about. We will have full recaps of Game 1 tomorrow night on the Ryder Report. Here's tonight's final thought. In a sport that prides itself on tradition, where the path of the manager's office is often paved with years in the dugout or decades in the minors, Tony Vitello's journey is not just unconventional, it's unprecedented. After guiding Tennessee to its first College World Series title in 2024, Vitello now finds himself at the helm of the San Francisco Giants, hired by Buster Posey in a move that defies baseball's long-held norms. No prior pro playing experience, no minor league apprenticeship, just a college coach with a championship pedigree and a belief that leadership transcends levels. It's a leap that baseball hasn't seen in the modern era, not since Casey Stengel, who once coached at the collegiate level before winning 7 World Series titles. He has a manager made such a direct jump. But even Stengel had pro experience. Pat Murphy, now at the Brewers, coached in college too, but again, not without pro stops along the way. Vitello's ascent is more akin to the bold, often bumpy transitions we've seen in other sports. Lou Holtz, fresh off NC State, was handed the realms of the New York Jets in '76. It lasted less than a season. Holtz resigned with a 3-10 record, famously declaring God did not put Lou Holtz on this earth to coach in the pros. He returned to college football, where he would eventually win a national title with Notre Dame. Jimmy Johnson's story is the counterpoint. A national champion at Miami, he was the controversial choice to replace Tom Landry in Dallas after a brutal 1-15 debut. Johnson orchestrated one of the greatest roster rebuilds in NFL history, winning back-to-back Super Bowls and earning a place in Canton. Brad Stevenson brought Butler to the brink of college basketball immortality before taking over a rebuilding Celtics squad. He didn't win a ring as a coach, but his fingerprints are all over the 2024 championship roster he helped assemble from the front office. And Dave Haskell, a fixture in college hockey, made the leap to the NHL with the Flyers and later the Kraken. His tenure was respectable, if not revolutionary. So what does this mean for Tony Vitello? It means he's stepping into a role that demands more than tactics. It demands translating college success into professional credibility, translating youthful energy into clubhouse command, translating belief into wins. It's a challenge few have dared to take, fewer still have conquered. But if baseball is ready to embrace new voices, new paths, and new possibilities, then perhaps Vitello's journey isn't just unprecedented. It's the beginning of something bold. And in a game that's always looking for its next great story, Tony Vitello might just be writing it. That'll do it for me on this Thursday night. Till next time, Ryder Bullock reporting. Thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me share mine.